I'd like a time where we're sitting at a desk
Just
that's
there.
about like desk size, not this desk, with those mics on. I'd be up for that.
It's more comfortable.
It's-
These
posture,
look nice. These sofas look good, but they're not actually that practical when you think about
I
it.
feel
I'm
pretty
pretty blessed right now.
Yeah,
Tell you what,
All right,
now it's on the table.
But at the minute, you've got nothing that you will need to do other than sit there and talk. Whereas, although there's only a bit of music to it, it's leaning forward. It's all that. Even on the camera there, we've got a bit of visual. Everyone wave, right? You can see our heads and our shoulders and that, but that will be blocking most of you. With these as well, if it was just the ones on the stand, like Adam said, and it was a little bit higher than that, and was on. Like
Yeah, but
stools.
I've got mine low.
Yeah.
So to the camera, Adam's is blocking his face. Mine's low, and it points up.
Adam's full on like.
Also,
no face,
like
no case.
every time I got to talk, I'm like,
Now you know what
I've
I
got
was
to be on the
going
mic,
through.
but I can't. Like, I'm talking to you guys.
Yes. Oh, where's the cheer? I don't even know which one it is, but I wanted that right then. No, wrong one.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hear2Listen podcast. So we've got a full team in today. So we've got Max in,
Max is back.
Easy.
we've got Jack,
Yo.
and we got Adam. But Adam's also got a few things he wants to just to let you guys know about because he's got some good things.
Some
coming.
updates, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some updates like for Hear2Listen as a whole. Obviously, we're living in COVID world at the moment, and various companies struggle, and we're kind of doing quite well at the moment. I mean, we don't rest on our laurels really, and we don't just sort of accept things as they are. We
Positive.
we take action. I think so. I think the biggest thing is that we're currently on YouTube, and those that are listening are obviously aware of that. But we decided it'd be good to cross-platform a little bit. So we're now on Spotify. So some of the thinking behind that is if you're on YouTube, you've got to keep your phone open and maybe it drains your battery. You know, with Spotify, it's a platform, isn't it? This was somewhat influenced by the big deal that was done by Joe Rogan recently, and we could speculate that most of the podcasters will probably end up on that platform. That's what I was thinking, rather than like iTunes and all these other things. So yeah, us working out how to get on Spotify was a bit of a mission. We started with Anchor FM, so we are on anchor.fm/ Hear2Listen CIC. So it's HEAR 2 LISTEN CIC. So you can go there to start with, but straight away within that page is a link to Spotify. So you can just click on that and you can go to Spotify.
Where are they?
Where or what?
The links.
Oh, the links are
Floating
behind me
behind
on
somewhere.
the green screen, if we can get it up and running.
Small steps.
Yeah, we're thinking about going visual. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
another thing to point out, I think we've got the camera rolling for the first time, so we were looking forward to letting you
Oh, dear.
all see our
he has to
faces.
do
That's
it,
just
doesn't
grotesque,
It's
man.
grotesque. I like that
the
word.
dirt on Jack's feet and his soles.
Look, man,
Guys,
I
brilliant.
didn't know that I'd be showing my socks off to everyone today. It just happened to be like that.
Yeah, because
They're not actually that bad. They could have been worse. They could have been like mine and have loads of holes.
I've got my colourful Alessi on. Can't keep them too close to Max, though, might.
They don't smell as bad as they look.
Don't know. Don't get too close.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
yeah. So that's the Anchor side of things. But anyone that's got Spotify can literally do a search for Hear2Listen, HEAR 2 LISTEN. Yeah, if you do a search, you will end up on our Spotify. So that's great. Another thing is we've revamped our website. Well done to Emily that supported us with this. She's done a lot of work on the website recently. We've got
Smashed it.
we've got like tabs, proper tabs now. We've got a tab that goes to a studio. So if you go to the studio tab,
Sorry,
Go on.
just
Go on.
someone out there that knows about it. Like, well done, mate. You got tabs. You've got tabs. We've always had tabs, but we've got additional tabs.
we've got tabs that you can open up into other things. Yeah. Jack is in front of the website at the moment. So if you, on the left-hand side, I think you'll see what we do. So we've got like our programs, things like that we can access if you hover over the tabs, yeah. Then we've got the studio part, which is where the podcast sits. And within that is another way of listening, but also linking to our podcast platforms. So you can go through our website as well, which is hear2listen.org.uk. Pretty simple, that one. We've got, what else we got? We've got a meet the team coming. Oh, nice one, Jack. You just reminded me. So if you go back to that page, I think it's coming soon. So we've got a coming soon page there as well. And a couple of programs that we've got in mind is about a COVID supported program going into schools and assisting young people with the transition into school life is the primary thing about that. But also looking at mental health and some of the struggles that some of young people have faced. So we're going to be approaching schools and colleges with this program. And then the other one is just a little board game idea. So in the spirit of bringing young people together after somewhat of a social isolation that we've had recently, what a great excuse is to have a bit of fun, get some board games out. It's my world, I will say that. I love board games. They've moved on quite a bit since Monopoly. If anyone's just had Monopoly and Snakes and Ladders, believe me, if that was the Nokia 500, modern board games are the iPhone 11. So things have moved on. And we'd be glad to introduce you to those. So you can always message us on our website or phone us up or whatever if you're interested in any of those things.
Also, just to butt in quick, Adam, because there is a tab option listening to the podcast to actually leave voice notes. Am I wrong saying that?
You are right. That's part of the Anchor one.
Nice. So if you want to get in touch.
But also, I think you can access that through our studio podcast, studio tab and then podcast section.
On the website?
Yeah, Jack's scrolling down now. So you see that just in front of you. Yeah, so up a bit, there's message. Yeah, so you can do a voice message to us.
You can take the laptop to your lap, Jack.
So
it's not plugged in. Take the lap thing
Adam,
with you.
Can I ask you
It's
a quick
protection
question
for
as
your
well?
lap.
Cool, chaos.
Sorry, too many people talking.
Health and safety.
Quick question, Adam, because I haven't actually heard of, seen anything to do with Anchor before. What is it?
Good question, Liam. So part of our thing was like finding a platform where we could host our audio recordings, I guess you could say, and this all comes with a cost out there.
Yeah.
So Emily did a lot of searching and discovered this. Funnily enough, Anchor, just today, I've found out, like somebody was saying, listen to my podcast, and it was on Anchor. I was like, I know that. So I've only known that in the last couple of days. So Anchor, it seems to be a great platform. There's no cost attached to it. They operate this system of if you click a box to say you're happy to do advertising on your podcast, you record your own, you do your own, you put them where you want within your podcast at the beginning or the end or whatever, because there's nothing worse than listening to one and 10 minutes in you've got an advert. So if we'd structure them at the beginning and the end, and they take a little bit of a cut from that advertising revenue. That's how they kind of keep themselves going.
I think they actually will do the brand deals for you as well. Like from the way that Emily was reading it from the website, it's basically a platform to record. You can download the app on your phone and record a podcast between you and Jack, being at home, you in your house, him at his. It's like an app like that as well. But once you sign up and start putting stuff on there, where you'd be on YouTube and you you might get scouted for brand deals and stuff, but you'd go out looking for deals. You might go to work with some, I don't know, shampoo company or promote some app or whatever, but they do the legwork and they take a percentage. And the percentage, we may be wrong, but the way that it read, again, because it was just going, it said something about 4%, 4.5% or something, wasn't it, Adam? She said?
That's right. Yeah.
Because it said you'd get that back because we're not at a stage where we're monetized. We wouldn't get charged that, or we
don't have access to that because it's US only.
Okay.
That's the catch. Now, in the spirit of companies always expanding, maybe there'll be a UK one at some point, and then maybe by then we'll have loads of subscribers and stuff. I mean, speaking of which, we were talking a little bit about we love our subscribers at the moment. We've got like a modest 34, I think it is as well. It's a great start for something that's been going for 2 months. Why do we want to monetize our podcast is the question. Well, we're a community interest company. All that we do is about putting money back into the community. So this isn't about like sorting out our costs. Most of our costs are kind of done with at the moment. We're doing it as best we can, cheapest we can, finding Anchor, for example, that's free. So our kind of costs attached to the podcast are very, very minimal. But what we want to do is get advertising revenue that then we can, build programs around young people's needs, the usual stuff that we do that we normally apply for funding, and we get it or we don't. Whereas this kind of guarantees money coming into the company and we can do some good in the community. So.
And also, just to paint a picture, we have got nice podcast equipment, but this was actually bought, for those frequent listeners would know that this was actually bought for the young people, for the programs that we couldn't actually run this summer. And we are a non-for-profit organisation, and if you could see what's under these sheets, we've sellotaped bits of tables to other bits of tables. We've got a drain pipe holding up the green screen. It is very makeshift, but this takes me back to the podcast with Hannah Moore. And it's like, look, don't moan about what we've got. We're making it work. Like, we are literally, we're not sitting there moaning. I'm having a little rant now, but it's not a rant. It's just to show and paint a picture that, yes, okay, from your view at the minute, it looks very posh and stuff, but actually we've got duct tape holding these tables together. So
look where we started. We started on Microsoft Teams.
there we go. And that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And we've got to this point, and we are now looking to obviously evolve. And without the support of you guys listening and obviously expanding that, we are not going to be able to do that in some respect, are we? And that's what we need to sort of aim to achieve.
Yeah, we're asking for our listeners just to share it, really. Share and like and subscribe.
Or
if,
dislike.
Some
even
people
dislike. I don't even mind.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
if you don't like it,
Just
let us
engage.
know. Yeah, engagement is key. Communication, boys. What do we always say? Communication's key. And
It is.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't want to put a downer on it.
Oh, here we go. So he's already done it. By saying that, you automatically...
Well,
put it
no,
down.
you don't want
it don't
to.
work.
What
The
doesn't?
website.
Which
You
part?
can't leave a voice message. We're asking them to go on there, leave a message.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even do it.
Because it requires access to your microphone.
No. The button don't work on the website.
Okay, we'll look into
Like
that.
one of
Thank
those
you very
tabs
much.
we just spoke about. We've got tabs that are not working on it. No, it's early doors, and to be fair,
Well, cuts.
it may not be. No, by the time they listen, I guarantee it's working. Actually, little test. Why not pause this? Have a little look, see if you can go and do it. If it works now, we've fixed the problem. If not, we are not doing our jobs properly.
That's it.
I like it.
Hear2Listen.org.uk.
There we go.
Nice.
Decent. Right. So is that it? No, we're finished now.
Well,
Now
it
you done?
was like an event. It's just an eventful week for us, isn't it? Like,
It
and
has been
I
mad.
wondered about just letting everybody know what we've been up to, really. So it's been quite pod focused. But one of the other things, obviously, we're running the NCS program at the moment, and there's 2 people in here that haven't run a group for quite a long time. How's it
And
been?
It's been amazing to get out of the office.
Yeah.
Literally, we've been in the office for what? How long? 9 months? Without doing any sort of interacting on the thing that we sell. It's
Yeah.
probably been a good 9 months, and
Yeah.
we finally got into like going and seeing young people out in the community, doing what they do best. And yeah, it's been wicked, hasn't it?
Yeah, not only that, some of the young people we've been working with, like, same again, they've been at home for like 3 or 4 months, they haven't seen anyone. That's the first sort of team, but we're in like sort of team bubbles for like 13, 'cause that's what we have to be in. But yeah, like just seeing them interact and have fun, and then sort of getting to know each other, like new people and stuff like that for the first time. It's been very refreshing.
It's a weird program though, isn't it?
It's not as good as what we would like it
What
to
do you
be.
mean weird?
Because, so you know on NCS you get the first week where you're getting everyone out their comfort zones, they're doing outdoor activities, you know, you're breaking down those social barriers by conquering your fears and having a laugh, all that sort of stuff. Then you have the university week when you're with your friends that you've met, you're living together, you're doing all these other skills building.
Increasing your independence.
Yeah, and you're getting to know each other even more. So by that 3rd week, you're like this, like you guys all know each other, like you're really comfortable around each other.
It's a journey.
So yeah, and
It's
then
a
you
big
get to the
journey.
project and, you know, you're all invested and you do this project and you all give ideas and you're confident and things like that. But this program, it is jump straight into the project. So it's like you meet on day 1, you spend 4 hours getting to know each other, day ends. Day 2, it's like, all right, let's sit down and think about the project, do a little bit more sort of getting to know each other. And then day 3 and 4, which is all we had, is get the project finalised, finished and done. So it's quite a quick turnaround. So to get the young people organised, we're just lucky that we got the young people that we did, really, aren't we? We got like
Say that though.
amazing.
I've heard across the board, obviously, because you get to hear from most team leaders or all team leaders throughout these programs, and it become apparent that because of exactly what you just said, like there's no, we'll call it a carrot, the juicy carrot that sort of used to entice young people to take part. The young people that took part in this program knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Knew there was not going to be any extreme activities. They knew there wasn't going to be a week living independently at the uni, but they still opted to come and take part on a program that's basically about building up the community, getting it back on their feet, and volunteering. That's it, basically volunteering.
Literally.
I'm volunteering, Max. Imagine this, yeah. So at the beginning of the week,
Oh yeah.
I asked the group, I was like, right, so normally we say this on NCS, yeah, we'd probably get 1 out of like
Out of
a team,
15.
out of like a whole team of 15. So how many of you guys do volunteering already? Literally at 9 out of 11 people probably put their hands up already. So like the young people that join this program, they get it. They want to help out. They want to give back, and they want to do.
And I bet they feel so much better for it, not even just for the volunteering, because we know that makes you feel good. When you do something for nothing and you do something to make something better off your own back and blah, 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 it's an amazing feeling. But they've been stuck indoors all this time.
Yep.
They took the jump and decided to join. Whether, like you say, 9 out of 13 had already done volunteering.
Yep.
Yeah, so there was a small portion of them that didn't. they still took that leap and done it. They've got to meet. I've seen a lot of the young people's testimonials, if you like, the feedback about how fun it's been. Team leaders are amazing, like that's awesome, music to our ears, obviously, but just the fact that they can actually talk and mix with other people other than those within their household, that must be huge for a young person to be sort of going through that and then to sort of get out. I bet they are so glad they took that jump.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's been good, isn't it?
So I mean, and it's sort of separated me and Leon almost from what's been going on behind the scenes of this week, because you're saying we've had like such a crazy week and and I'm like, what?
My head's killing me.
What do you mean? What have you done? Because all I've done is nothing to do with you guys.
It's only been the last 2 days. I think the last 2 days has been like a whirlwind in here, hasn't it? So many ideas, and because we've got so much stuff up in the air, the revamp of this room, the website, there's been new bits getting planned with the board games, with the repurposed Health to Mind program.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that. So we obviously run Health to Mind, something that's within schools. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to go within schools anytime soon. So that's going to be something that we're going to be putting together online until it does go back. So there's been loads, but yeah, thick head is all I'm going to say right now. And I'll blame it on the weather, but I reckon it's the last 2 days in this office. But it's been productive, has it not? There's been a lot that's come out of it. So yeah.
So what's going on then? Come up with the board games.
Board games.
I like it. I like that idea.
I think
Repurposed
Health to Mind.
Yeah, like a COVID focused one. Yeah.
So what? So you're not going to schools, but you're still doing.
Well, no, it's not that we're not. It's not that we're not. This is the thing. We've got to get ready. We always knew in the back of our minds, even from the beginning, we've been working, haven't we, as an organisation with contingency plans. But for example, so I got an email from Mason School, and it said about obviously they're going back to school soon. Potential wearing of masks, blah blah blah, and it stated that no parents, no visitors, no third-party organisations will be entering the school when they go back. So to me, straight away, I was like, well, we're not getting in there then. Yeah. Why are they going to let us in, someone who's not there full time? But it all depends. So it's a big if. If they take on the face-to-face NCS, getting schools back into thingy, we'll be in there. But it's just it's all what ifs. There's
going to be a mixture, I think.
We just don't know, yeah.
So another school that we're working with in September, they're going to be happy. Well, they are extremely happy to have us in, and that's going to be like 4 members of staff helping with their students.
There we go. It will be different across the board. It will literally be different across the board, but we've got to be ready for both situations, both scenarios.
Got to adapt.
So sorry, I know how Health to Mind works normally. Therapy through
physical
activity and...
Yeah, I think it's building aspirations mostly, because the kinds of people that we usually see on the programme have been referred to by the school, and the assumption behind that is that they have certain needs that need to be met that maybe they don't have quite as much time to kind of meet. So traditionally we've had young people that kind of didn't really know about their future, or had like a few behavioural problems perhaps as well, some home life issues, let's say. So we kind of work with them across the board on any of those, just to kind of
almost like group mentoring, would you call it that?
Yeah.
So how the way the schools see it, like Adam said, they will more often than not they give us the students that are lacking certain skills or self-belief and all that sort of stuff. There's a mixture of behaviour issues or on the spectrum in some way, shape or form. They basically give us the people that don't get on in school or are struggling. But my argument has always been this program benefits anybody. Like it literally, it's not just, don't just give us one group of people that you think are going to benefit from it. We need to offer this to everybody, because so many, and it's the same with supporting families. We do this supporting families program, which is all about youth crime, knife crime and stuff like that. And it's like, they're giving us people that they think are in gangs and within crime, some of which they know for sure are, because they've been arrested or they've been, caught doing X, Y, and Z.
Or on the path to, is an assumption sometimes as well.
Again, it come up and it become more apparent that when we're working with these people, like we're talking about the risks and risky behaviours. And I don't care whether you're in a gang or you're into crime, anyone can be at risk of being groomed into doing certain things, whether it's crime related or where you could be caught up in a street fight, you could have someone approach you with a knife. Everyone can be at risk and everyone takes part in risky behaviours. It might be blimmin' walking across the road with headphones on or biking across the road and not looking. That's risky behaviour. And that's where the sessions often started off like that, because we didn't want to just go straight in and start talking about knives and guns and gangs and stuff and county lines. But that's where it sort of ends up. But they like, what is risky behaviour? Well, you tell me. Like, did you cycle with your headphones in? Yeah. What, both headphones in? Yeah. Music loud? Yeah. That's risky. Why is it risky? Because you could like just pull out into a road and there could be a lorry coming. Like it happens, right? So you start off like that. Do you tie your shoelaces? No, sometimes, like blah, blah, blah. And then it's drug taking, you know, like sexual activities, and it moves. It can go any direction. So that sort of information, that sort of PSHD type lesson, I'd sort of call it. That's what they used to call it when I was at school.
Mine was PSHCE.
That's it, probably. What did I say? PSHD.
Something like
shows
that.
how much I paid attention. But we had so much...
I was waiting for the perfect moment.
Leon, was that your leg again? Leon, that leg, mate, you need to start stretching it a bit longer.
This is definitely not my mic. I'm starting to get mad.
Right, okay, so this is another debate actually. We'll go back to the normal microphones.
No, we don't. I just need to get my microphone stand back because you guys, looking at you, Adam.
I'm fine, mate.
I know you are. Yours looking real strong over there, and I know that's
This is the first time I've sat in one of these chairs. I'm normally on the sofa, so we have changed it a little bit, ladies and gents. So you may think that we've always sat in these positions. We've not. We actually haven't. No, we did. We sat in the same seats up until today, pretty much. Obviously, in different rooms, it was different layouts, but we found ourselves in this room for the last, 3 months, something like that.
I just want to go back. So you know when you're saying about riding a bike with your headphones in?
Yeah.
I know 100% used to do that. And now, like, when I've been going bike riding, I was thinking of putting my crushers on, but obviously they're like
double
massive,
like these.
massive
They're over the
headphones.
year, aren't they?
And I was like, I can't wear them because if I'm on the country lanes, a car might come. But when I was younger,
I didn't care because you're indestructible when you're younger, and that's what we've got to try and get young people to be more aware of. That actually, you're not. And I don't want to put fear into everyone and stop people from doing extreme sports and stuff. We had this conversation, didn't we? It's not about that. It's about becoming more aware of your actions, what they can lead on to, and just some of the behaviours that the risks that you're opening up to.
So back to my original question.
What we're doing.
How have you adapted Health to Mind to be in COVID times?
Well, we're in process. This is it.
You haven't done it yet?
No, it's just been
part
a lot of ideas. There's been so many ideas floating around, and it's just been a bit of a whirlwind because we're finding out different updates every day.
Well, there's mixed things about that as well. There's this idea that young people have been negatively affected, and you know, there's issues around mental health. There's issues around missing their friends, disruption around school life, that kind of thing. So, I think there's a sense of perhaps people might want to talk about that and get some support about that.
Should we give him a minute just to sort out his
we'll
microphone?
give you a second.
It's actually starting to get to me.
Yeah, same.
There we
Is it
go.
getting to you boys?
There we go. I just had to invert it. You know what I mean?
Ah, okay, that works.
Oh, should we all do it?
No, I'm quite happy with mine at the minute.
so just to ask a question
There you go.
on what you was about to say, Adam. So through like sort of lockdown, we've always been talking about how young people have been negatively affected. Do you think the majority of young people have been negatively affected, or do you think some of them have welcomed it as like a positive break from school exams and spent time with their family?
I mean, I don't think there's any right answer. We've talked
Yeah.
previously about like the introvert and the extrovert, and we've also added that even the introverts had their limits, and maybe the introverts could be regarded as quite more studious and, you know, more fixated on their future and wanting to do well, and that being disrupted. So they might be okay in one sense, but totally not okay in the other.
Yeah.
So I tell us, anyone that's listening, what's going on? Let us know, kind of thing, you know, so that we can get maybe a bit more of an idea about that. I don't think anyone's sort of nailing it. I don't think anyone's like unaffected, be it, you know, because you've got family members.
Again, we can't say that because there could be people out there, and we can only own what we know about ourselves and friends and families and stuff to a certain degree. But there could potentially, I'm not saying there is, but there could be someone out there that is literally, I had this conversation with Mason, just started, they finished school, and then, you know, it got stopped a little bit early, and they've just jumped into what it is they actually wanted to do, whether it, and I'm thinking something that along the lines of podcast, YouTube creator, social media advocate or influencer, or building a website and selling a product. I know many students that have actually built their own website and started selling their clothing brand. They don't even make the clothes themselves. There's websites that print your clothes once you get a sale, so you don't even have to own it. So there'll be people that are just sailing and going, oh, I can't believe. Like, I don't know that anyone in person, but I don't doubt for a second there'll be people out there going, this has been the best thing that's happened to me, because it's made me just do exactly what I wanted to do. I've got no one saying, no, you need to go and do this, because there ain't no work. I can't get a job in X, Y, and Z. I've said that like 3 times this podcast. People are like, what's his deal with X, Y, and Z?
Where's X?
Where's X? But nah, and then on the flip side, it's like there's 100% going to be people that are struggling, even those that are wealthy and full of health, money and stuff don't come into it, this sort of pandemic, this sort of experience will have its effects on everybody in one way, shape or form. Even if it is probably excelling and they're making loads of progression in the steps that they wanted to take. But there'll be certain elements that they are missing out on, whether it's human interaction, paranoia, fear, more fearful, just the uncertainty that's floating about and all the misguidance at the beginning. But then there's people that don't even watch that stuff and like just getting on with it. Like I've seen so many young people actually. Hold on, this is a question for everybody. I think I might have spoke to you, Adam, about this yesterday, and I would love to know why this is. And I'm not going to sit and shame you and have a go at you for not wearing a mask. But I've seen a lot of young people, and I am going to say young people because these are the people that I've seen. And I'm talking, if I had to put an age on them, I'd say around sort of between 13 to 18. And this is in my local shops, not just one shop. You've got your Co-op, you've got your McCall's, you've got your takeaway shops. I'm talking across just the town, in shops, out shops, no masks. Like, I actually, look, I don't think the mask is actually, I'm not going to, these are my opinions and these are not facts. This is just how I feel.
Is the following opinion is not represented by Hear2Listen as a company.
There you go. No, 100%, because I've seen a lot of stuff online that's made me think that actually masks can actually be bad for you. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I've got that in my mind, but I still put a mask on because I don't want to make that person over there feel uncomfortable. So call me a sheep, call me whatever, but I'll put that mask on because we've been asked to.
Because you have to.
We've been asked to,
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to have to forever argue with people and make people feel uncomfortable, especially if I cough or something. Do you know what I mean? It'd be horrible. Some lady over there is like freaking out, or some kid because there's a man not wearing a mask and he's coughed. Like, that's happened. But yeah, more and more over the last week, I've seen loads of people not wearing masks. Like, how about you guys? Have you seen?
Well, comment on that. I wear a mask, like you say, because I have to. Don't actually.
Well, you don't have to
see the massive.
You've been asked to.
Yeah, and I will cooperate. I will cooperate. But again, Max, you're wearing a mask. You've got a massive beard. What's up with that?
Well, right at this current time, thanks for pointing out, I've got Mr. Bendy Beard going on. I'm glad this come up because I wanted to bring this up. Anyone out there with a beard knows the frustration that once you wear a mask, I've had a mask on for a 40-minute period today when I went to pick up my son's school uniform. Look at that divot. Can't get rid of it. You cannot. I've brushed it and brushed it and brushed it. It's just what the mask does. So anyone out there with a beard feeling my pain, look, I'm doing it and I got a beard. This is making me want to shave it.
But anyone out there, does having a beard ruin what they say is the mask is doing?
Well, that's what I mean. There's a lot of contradiction, isn't there?
So I don't know. Is COVID? Is it going to be air transported? So like, does it go in the air or is it just droplets? Is it just the droplets?
Yeah, look, we can all sit here and make assumptions. I don't think anyone actually knows, to be fair.
But they
not
should.
Around this table. Yeah,
no, around the table,
Around this table. None of us really know. But what I'm saying is, if you're listening and you are between the ages that I just said, between say 13 to 18 or even older, and you're not wearing a mask, what's the reason? Is it because of the stuff you've seen online and you're scared that actually you're going to harm yourself more so wearing a mask? Or is it because you've got underlying health conditions? Or is it because you just don't wear a mask? I just want to know.
I think you already answered it earlier, Max. I think that young people with this sort of mask think they're a bit indestructible.
Yeah, but I want to know. I want to hear it from them.
Yeah, but is it...
Just send a message. Give us a voice note or anything.
You're out with your mates. You forget your mask. You want to go shop. Are you really not going to go shop because you forgot your mask? No,
but these are walking in. This is in shops.
That's what I mean. You're with your mates out. You're chilling on your scooters, whatever, and you want to go get a drink. You haven't got your mask. If I didn't have my mask and I was a kid and I needed to get a drink, I'd probably bowl in.
I've done it, and I put my t-shirt over my nose. I literally done it. I walked around the shop with my t-shirt over my nose. I look like an idiot, but again, I'm putting that person's mind at rest from doing it.
Yeah, but are you though?
Mason's and his mates, they are on it like a bonnet. Really? He's got his mask in his pocket all the time.
Yeah, I do.
Like Mia doesn't even need to wear a mask, but she'll put one on. And I thought, if I'm wearing one, no, she's under the age bracket. If you're under a certain age, you don't need to wear it. What's that all about?
Well, how does that make any sense?
That's what I'm saying. So perhaps this is what the young people are saying. Do they know? Or
Adam's like, I don't like where this is going.
Well, how did we get on this?
I don't know. COVID, like
let's
adaptation
let's get rid
to
of
health to mind.
Yeah, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of this.
I want to know.
We're
If you are, you can drop us a message. Let us know. Then we can bring this back.
Our advice on masks ain't great. Don't listen to us. Follow the guidelines.
Follow the guidelines, 100%. But just tell us why you're not.
Yeah, if you're not.
Right, back to it. So, are we happy to move on from the repurposed?
Yeah. No, I get it.
There will be updates on the website in regards to Health to Mind. That's another page that is in process of adaptation, should we say, updating, because it's very basic at the moment. So there'll be lots of images and videos coming on that soon, hopefully. Yes.
So, got an update for the listeners. We've got some podcasts on the way. Got a couple, well, it's not all local, is it? We got some businesses coming in.
Local.
We have got some local ones coming in. So hopefully if you are from the Bedfordshire area, especially Biggleswade, you might actually recognise some of these businesses. But we've also got an anonymous...
we did a talk about like renting and part buy, part rent, property and stuff like that. So
property talk.
Property
talk.
Proper talk.
Proper talk. That's the one.
So we managed to get a manager for an estate agent. It's going to come in and give you some better advice than what maybe we was given. Maybe to get a bit better insight on how it works, what the processes are on either side, and hopefully to give you some more info really. And who else we got, Jack?
Well, we've actually got... Can I release the names now?
Yeah. If they're coming on, if you don't bring them on they're shame on you.
That's what I mean.
I'm
so
not cutting this
they have
out.
confirmed, so it's not my fault. You know, but we've got Nonno Joe's Italian restaurant in Biggleswade. Absolutely lovely. If you haven't tried it, definitely hit them up. And then we've also got Meg's Glitter Box. He's a beauty therapist.
Beauty spa type therapist.
Definitely don't go there to get my eyebrows done. Hey. But yeah, she got her coming on talking about how she coped through COVID because do you know what? I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it's a good chat. Got some good inside information.
Also, if you want to drop us a comment or a message or voice note on Anchor, maybe if it works, of who or what industries you may want us to try and contact that you want to find out a bit more information on, that will also help a lot of other young people or us as well, just to know a bit about. Just drop a comment.
Or maybe you are a business and you want to come on, definitely hit us up.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that was the intention with the podcast, really, that we have such like community networks. You know, we're so embedded, particularly in Bedfordshire, but we're kind of extended out to Cambridgeshire, Milton Keynes, Hertfordshire. Yeah, so you know, we've just got this network of people that we've communicated with before that we want to. I don't know. I want to say it's like a community podcast.
Yeah, that's the
really
idea.
like, and just having all facets of life. You know, that one of the intentions that I've got is to bring in, say, some charities, but also have them bring in service users. You know, get their perspective of what it's like as a service. You know, so we kind of want to cover things from all angles. So yeah, like any suggestions or any guests that want to come on and share your story, any story really, anything.
Yeah,
that's it. It's something we don't do enough. We don't ask enough. We did at the beginning, didn't we? We used to ask. We did the first couple of episodes, asked for sort of engagement and for topics and to vote and this that, and the other. But
because no one did.
No one.
We just stopped.
But no, 100%. It'd make it. It's so much more better for us.
I think we dream of a time where we can have people in person. So if anyone that's got any concerns about, you know, COVID and all that and coming in person, we can always do it over the phone, and it's pretty clear. We've had a few recently as well.
Or stick you in the corner.
Zooms, get you on the PC. We could do like a webcam type one. We could link up via webcams and stuff. So there's many options that we can do. Obviously.
As long as Adam remembers to hit the record button, it'll be good.
Do I ever forget?
You did.
Oh,
no, actually.
Maybe you didn't forget.
I don't think he did.
Maybe you didn't forget. Maybe it just didn't work.
Okay.
Do
you remember?
Hannah podcast when we was meant to have visual.
Oh yeah.
Oh look, acting like he forgot.
Took it out of his brain completely.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That was a blessing. It wasn't meant to be, because do you know why? I know that it wasn't meant to be. The fact that when she first came on to the conference, to the call type thing, she didn't have her camera on. It was only when she asked whether or not we wanted it, and I pretty much put her on the spot and said, well, I would prefer it because I'd like to talk to you rather than the letter H, because that's all we could see. So I feel like I sort of pressured her in to turning it on. So I just, part of me thinks.
I think as someone who, I maybe where she's coming from is, it would have been good to know before now, because you think about like what you might look like. You know, I'll be thinking like, did I have a shave today? That sort of stuff. You know, if you kind of catch people out with it on the moment, yes, but I just think it's just about heading it up a little bit and let people know. Yeah.
Go check that one out.
Yeah, what was that one called? Get Tom with it, I think.
Get Tom with it.
Yeah, Tom with it.
All right, look out for that one.
For those of you that haven't seen the actual interview with Erin and Sir Tom, that is also live now. So go check that out as well. We've actually got some nice inspirational words from the captain himself. Exclusive. That is an exclusive, isn't it?
It is, I guess.
Check it out. If you don't know about it, what are you doing? Where you been? There's something that I was going to bring up. It don't necessarily need to be a whole pod, but it's just something that I wanted us to potentially have as a pod in the future, or just spend a couple of minutes talking about it. And it become more apparent to me from the editing of the pods more than anything, even though I had this training and the knowledge that I'm about to discuss like about a year and a half ago. It's one of those things that you get told something, you play along for a little bit, but then like us asking for engagement at the beginning, but then fizzed out. It's exactly like that. So you start doing it, but then it fizzes out. So when I'm editing, and this come clear, first of all, when I was editing the Mind Matters, that was our one on mental health, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And something that our recruitment manager, Chris, mentioned as well, that flagged it up as well. And it was just about the use of language that we was using. And like I say, I wouldn't have even noticed it unless someone mentioned it. And the fact that when I edit, or when you edit, you know that you listen so much more.
Yeah,
you end up listening to the same thing 3 or 4 times. But we was talking about like mental health and mental health issues and stuff like that. And then like getting quite deep at times. And obviously there's a lot of viewers that listen that are suffering from that sort of stuff. But then in the same sentence or a sentence after, we was then talking about something really cool and good. And was like, oh, that was crazy, wasn't it? That was insane. That was sick.
Mental.
That's mental, man. I love that. That was mental. And this happened about 6 times, right? And I'm like, oh my days, I done training on this. I actually done training on safety of language and just the way that we use language in today's world. And it has been for years. Like language is something like it's got rules and boundaries and it's got a script. It's a script, but it gets bent out of shape and people make slang, and this has happened for years. But there's so many words that were once seemed negative that now are positive and vice versa. And actually one word can mean the same thing, can mean 6 different things, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So I thought that'd be a wicked pod, or even just a little conversation on it. But also just that we should really be more mindful, especially being a parent. I'm looking at you, Leon.
Yeah.
So for me, this is part of this working at Hear2Listen that really benefited my parenting. We was talking about parenting, pondering, what was it, name, man?
Parent pondering.
There we go. Parent pondering, another episode. Check it out. Up there, look. There it is. But yeah, it was so beneficial when I done the training. It was with Sally Ann, Protective Behaviours. I do recommend that everyone at this organisation goes and takes part. Next time she's doing like a 2-course thing, I'm definitely going to get us all on it. But there's loads to do with this protective behaviours, but part of this was the safety of language, or language safety, whichever way around it was. And it's just like kids are sponges. So when you're looking at being a parent and, you know, that kids, whatever you say, whatever you do, they're continuously watching and absorbing. And you're basically conditioning them without even meaning to. And then you've got parents out there, and I've probably said something similar along the lines to what I'm about to say, but I'm not actually going to say it because there's a few swear words, or a swear word in there, which I won't say. But it's like when you could look at something like a kid's being naughty in the park, and you look over and there's an Aggie mum or an Aggie dad going, stop being a little, right? It just becomes sort of normal. You hear that quite a lot. Like I've definitely heard that quite a lot. I've been called one many a times. I think I've been guilty of it some way, shape or form. When you actually take that apart and look at it, to what you're actually calling your son or your daughter, your child, you little, stop being a little, why are you such a little? And then they actually grow up or get to an age where they can understand what that is you're calling them and think, my parents have been calling me this all my life. How would that make you feel as a young person, as a kid?
Do you think they would think that's what my parents have been saying? Or do you think without, cause I find that sometimes young people are a little bit less self-aware, especially when they're sort of young, or do you think they will start being that little
right
before they even aware of?
Because they've been conditioned to be told that's all they are. So why are they now playing up? Because you've told them that they're a little all their life. 100% it works in that way as well.
So if you was being a little,
Shall we say ship?
Shit. We
Right.
can say shit.
Let's say you're being a little wee menace, yeah? I think you need to be told.
But not in
Maybe
that way.
not with that word,
Right.
menace. You wee menace.
But
That's Russ and Raz.
if you're going from Leon's perspective, and he says that you would end up being that, you're being conditioned. You've been told that you're a menace, so you're a menace, you're a menace. Yeah. I used to get called Freddy Krueger and Dennis the Menace as a kid. Whenever I had a Mars.
And now look at him.
Exactly. It took me years to unwind and sort of derail me. But they done it in the end. But a few sort of surgeries and that.
No, I do get what you're saying. Because as a video that we had to watch when we done training, you've probably watched it actually. And it was about every time the mum and dad called the son or the daughter this name, like you're useless or whatever, it had like a scar was like etched into their skin and it'd stay on their skin saying that you hold on to these. Mm-hmm. I feel like every young person's different. There could be some person that gets called it and they latch onto it. But and if it's every day of your life, then that does impact you in that way, I guess. But if you are being a menace and you get called a menace, I feel like it is just how it is. Like if your kid's being a naughty, you're not going to say anything else.
Yeah, but this is where I want the conversation to go. So where do you draw the line? Because we could go through trying to change up our vocabulary and I'd done it for about a month and I was very mindful of what I was saying, how I was saying it. They do whole role play versions of what you would do. If you come home from work and your son's had a stressful day, like there's ways to approach it because when you get to a certain age, teenage sort of years or just pre-teen, hormones and stuff are flaring up and all over the place. And like I said to you about a year ago, I could walk into the room at one point and say, "Here's £100," and he'd go, "Get out!" It was like, what? But it was just like the approach and certain things that had happened before I went into that room that I just took for granted. But I might have made a snarky comment or something. Do you know what I mean? It makes you more aware. But you say they might be just being a little menace. But again, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. They might have been a bit of a menace and a bit of a handful. They might have ADHD. They might have some sort of additional need. And if they've been getting called a menace from as long as they can remember, nappy sort of age, then no wonder they are a little menace. No wonder they're chasing Uncle Bill around the garden with a flipping rake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But where do you draw the line? When we go back to the mental health and, that's mental, that's sick, heavy, all the words that are negative in one way.
Heavy.
Right? But the positive in another. Is that bad? For us, in the position we're in, I suppose people could moan about that. But I mean, are young people going to stop saying that's insane? No. Insane's been around for years, but there's insane, and then board game was insane last night, Adam. Do you know what I mean? Where do you draw the line?
As society moves on, like different words get used for different things. So like 10 years ago, mental health wasn't so spoken about. So
true.
But 20 years ago, if someone was insane, you would call them like insane, and that would be the word. And then I guess like as it moves on, so like in 20 years' time, who knows what mental health will mean? People like,
well, mental already means something else.
Yeah, but I suppose because people still.
I think mental, the only way you can do this is to educate people on language, saying that things can be used in different terms. Like I almost disagree with what she was teaching. I get the prospects of what she's teaching because it's like I'm saying, teach people that certain words mean different things, which is great. But saying that you shouldn't be using mental in a positive term just don't seem right to me. Because so what, I'm using a word that used to be classed as negative, but if I'm using it in a positive way, then surely it's still positive.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm even.
Does that come down to your tone of how you use it?
Comes down to the tone, who's in the room. It's just being more mindful.
It is. So I guess maybe that's what she was teaching, rather than don't use these words. Yeah. It was more like be mindful of when you do.
I think be sure of your intent as well. I think there's people that might use that word derogatory compared, at somebody. Yeah. And the intent is probably quite clear in that. Most people probably won't want to hurt somebody else's feelings and will just kind of say it just because it's part of their vocabulary. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot recently. I could always say like last 10 years really about policing your language. The political correctness kind of angle and how sort of certain words are not used anymore. And maybe there was some initial defence initially, like I've been using that word my whole life. Why can't I use it now? The kind of people that hang on. But it's not that. It doesn't sound that big a deal just to modify your language a little bit. Particularly if you're aware that some of the words that you use might be upsetting, let's say, to other people.
So phone was ringing like the clappers then, and it was my son's friend. Last time this happened, which was last week, it split his kneecap open. And I just got back from the hospital with Sarah, put my feet up, had a coffee, and then I got the phone call to say that Mason's legs split open. And I thought that was it, so I just had to send a message while she was talking. But it's Thomas, yeah, his mate Thomas, and he said, I was like, look, I can't speak, we're recording, blah, 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 is everything all right? Yeah, just wanted to let you know Mason's phone's died. Thanks for letting me know, but at the same time, like, it's just ringing relentlessly. This, for the last 15 minutes, been going, and I just looked, because I thought it was like just some random call, because the first one was like an 08 whatever number, like one of them weird ones. Again, weird.
Back to language.
Yeah. Weird.
Well, maybe take it a slightly different direction. So like swear words, like
it's language.
It's language, and why is it that kids aren't allowed to say swear words, but adults can just say them as and when?
So, I'm the worst person to be involved in this conversation.
I think you're the best, mate, because I think our views are opposing, and I really want to hear what you're saying, and then I'll present my little bit.
Because me and you are very different. So, for me, so a swear word, I don't see. I see offensive words. Swear words, get out of here. I don't know who come up with that nonsense. But they're just words. All right, they're either offensive or they're not. Every word's a word. There's no difference between swear words and words. I think you should be able to use them whenever you want. It's a free country. I can say what I want. I should be able to use them whenever I need to. If you're using them towards someone, I don't know, to insult them or to be nasty, I look at that as bad. But to be able to use a swear word, like, I think it's absolutely fine. I don't see how it can...
want to swear right now, didn't he? He wants to swear.
I can't see how it can offend your ears. Like, I get if I insult someone or I use a swear word at someone, I can see the wrong in that. But to just swear, like, if I'm talking to you and I'm excited about something and I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Okay, so would you think it's acceptable for us to swear throughout this? We just said ship. That was the closest we would get to
not at all. If it was my podcast and I was at home in my back garden, 100%. But because of the viewers that we got, I'm not going to do that. And I don't think as a community interest company, we want to be seen to be politically correct.
Professional, I suppose you might say.
But
that is a
professional.
objective
opinion. I think that's
how many
wrong.
Professionals swear? You look at Gordon Ramsay.
Exactly.
I ain't being funny.
One
guy, Gordon Ramsay. Like he's like my dad. Every other word.
No, but it's so expressive. Like people use, myself included, use swear words to express themselves. You might say I've got a rubbish vocabulary. Maybe. No, I'm not saying you do, but that's what some people say. People that swear haven't got a big vocabulary. I'll tell you what. There's at least 15 words that I use that none of you guys use. And guarantee it. And they're all swear words. Well, that's it. They're part of my vocabulary, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it sort of contradicts yourself, Jack, because you're saying that you think it's right, and if it was your podcast, you would.
Yeah.
It's not. So why would it be okay just to do it at your own?
Because I haven't got control of this company.
But if you did, would you do it?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So if this was your business...
If this was my business, 100%. Yeah. Young people, definitely wouldn't. Because I'm trying to get more views, trying to get them engaged, trying to get their parents to let them watch.
I found out, and this may be false, again, this is not this is not fact or anything, but I've been told or found out through a source of mine that actually swearing in videos now on YouTube, as well as the promotion of smoking, actually gets, the algorithms are pushing those out more so. Would you Adam and Eve that? Like, I literally, this is what they're saying.
Well, you mean getting more views from this?
Nico? You know Nico, the YouTube, you've seen him?
Maybe.
Mason watched him. He's massive, absolutely huge. But he was saying it used to get demonetized. Obviously, there's certain words, the offensive ones that you might be talking about. You know, the "see you next Tuesday" and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the worst one. All right, I won't be using that freely.
That will get you demonetized, but the Fs and the Jeffs and all that sort of stuff, apparently they're pushing those out because young people like that sort of stuff.
All right, Jack. So just go back to that. So why would you not use that swear word over other swear words?
All right, I try to make myself look good. I do use that word. I use it in an Australian accent. Why are you bringing that up? I tried to make myself look a little bit better because that is the worst one that everyone's so offended about, which I still can't see why you'd be so offended about that.
Adam, I want to hear what you're
Yeah,
saying.
he's
mate.
sitting
It's
there
about to blow up.
seething.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking hard.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make you look bad, but it's just like it's an because you
No,
you're
no.
going
Yeah,
full swear
okay.
words, and then you're like,
Okay.
actually, I wouldn't use that one.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I was trying to make myself look better.
I suppose
I can feel the judgment in the room.
I'm not judging.
Leon, mate, I can feel it.
I am on the fence.
You're always on the
I'm
fence.
always-
Get down, mate.
yeah,
Get on the side,
I
mate.
don't-
Do something.
I don't
Good
mind
to
on the
be-
fence, mate.
Middleman's good, man.
No, it ain't.
It is. It's easy.
Well, I was just thinking, like, imagine if you like, if an adult fell over walking down the street and they went, oh,
Yeah.
right, and then if a kid done it, and there's a crowd of people, it would turn heads, and all the adults would be like,
Again.
Maybe.
But why? It is
Yeah,
some
it doesn't make
frequency.
sense.
Yeah,
Why?
frequency of waves traveling to your ear in a specific tone. If you choose to get offended by that, that is on you. Is how I see it.
yeah,
I just think it looks quite criminal in a sense. Not criminal, that's a big word, but not big word. It's a big word. It's a strong word, I suppose. But for example, many are posts out there, and I remember seeing one a fair few years back, and I think it was actually an Australian girl, and it was like an ice bucket challenge when that thing was going big, and they done it or something, and she just started cussing hard, and then stuck her middle finger up and all that sort of stuff, using hand signals and verbally effing
Why?
and jeffing. Because they just tipped cold water.
Oh,
She was about
oh.
4 years old, and
Oh,
it just
what?
looked horrible. It went viral. How it must have seen it.
I didn't see
It was
that.
it was about 3 years ago. That must have been
Really?
with the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
I done one.
It was a little while back, wasn't it?
Of course, jumped on that
But
hype.
there's something about it when you're adults, they can make up their own mind and stuff. They can anyway, but I mean, they can do what they want to do. And I wouldn't want my kids. I wouldn't want my kids walking around swearing and stuff. And I don't doubt for a second they do when they're at the skate parks and stuff like that, thinking they're cool. Do you know what? I used to do the same. I used to be exactly the same.
yeah, same.
Yeah, it's not like I've never swore. I used to swear quite a bit when I was younger.
Oh yeah, what words? I'm joking.
I remember being over a basin at one point with a bar of soap inches from my mouth. So that's kind of the thing that probably conditioned it out of me fairly early on.
Why'd you point at me in there?
Because this is where we're going to see if my mum was lying. She told me she put a bar of soap in your mouth because you were swearing.
Nah, never happened.
Wah, wah. I don't need to learn these buttons, man.
At what age?
It's still going. Can we turn it off?
What? Don't just come on.
At what age do you think you was allowed to swear in front of your parents?
14.
14.
35. I mean, I don't
No, just
anymore.
out of respect.
Well, I suppose now and again you drop one, but it's like...
Condition.
Right, see, my mum will still moan at me for it. If I swear, she's like, Jack. And then I'm like, what? She's like, you swearing? And I'm like, yeah.
Again, I'm going to
And
jump
then-
in
go on.
only because when you're on that game,
No, no,
the
no,
whole
no,
street can hear you.
No,
like,
she does, no, this isn't on the game, all right? I get the game. I'm screaming. I'm in a virtual world. I get caught up with emotions. And I get that, all right?
Adam can hear you in MK.
But that's the volume of my voice. I get that. But when I'm sitting downstairs having a chat with my dad and she literally, which I think is even ruder, butting in a conversation that we and my dad are having to say, what are you doing? You're swearing. And it's like, well, yeah, let me finish this conversation. Like, stop butting in. You know what I mean? That's ruder than swearing.
Ruder. Is that a word?
More rude.
I got pulled up for making up compromisation, so I'm going to bring that up.
So I'd say that I probably didn't swear in front of my parents till like 20, unless I was like fuming. Then you're just like, when you're a teenager, you just have to let out.
But I
occasional
can't even
bomb.
imagine you being fuming. I can't.
Okay.
You're a character that I can't imagine in rage. Like I can. I
Yeah.
can sort of see it, but then I can't see it. It's like that image that is there for a second that just disappears because you're always nice.
Just don't let the beast out, mate.
Don't let the beast out.
The lion.
I keep that deep in.
So,
I
go on.
one of my approaches, let's say, was when I did drug treatment, it was in jails, right? So you always had cohorts of people that were very sweary, and it was like, that's how I've grown up, that's it. And they were very defensive about the use of their swearing and their language, to the point where, like you say, every other word is a swear word. There's a kind of a psychology to this where repeated behavior, your brain forms neurons, right? You'll have like one to start with, fine, and then you do a thing and it creates a little line, then you do it again, that line gets thicker and thicker and thicker to the point where things become automatic. This is how we do automatic things like driving.
Autopilot.
Yeah, yeah. So the repeated actions that we deliver, for want of a better word, get into our heads to the point where they become kind of part of our makeup, and they're quite natural, to the point where if you were to say go into a room and you're well sweary, you'd find it quite hard to kind of turn off the swears, right? Because you've since been, and it's not really your fault, it's kind of like, the brain has formed those patterns, those recognizable repetitive patterns. So one of the challenges that we had when we had guys come into the groups was trying to condition them away from those things. And we used to kind of put it as, you've been so used to swearing and obviously you're very protective of your language, but at one point you've got to get out into the world, and there's certain words that, through no fault of your own, are just not acceptable. If you're going for a job interview or whatever, you've got to now try and train yourself not to swear. Actually, to the point where you're so used to doing it, you're walking into your first interview and you say, yeah, blah, 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 F, because it will just spill out, because it's been remembered, because it's been repeated.
Conditioned.
So, because we all, and some of that conditioning might come from like parental stuff, so some of it we used to say, it's not like your fault, guys, because that's the environment that you're in, and that's what you learned was acceptable, so you've done it. So, it was quite a battle at times to kind of get people to modify their languages. But I mean, we've done groups before, Max, about like, the stop, go, clap, jump, about how you can change your thinking and you can change your behaviour. And I think
reprogram the brain, basically.
Yeah. I definitely swear, there's times where it kind of pops out there, but because I've not intentionally conditioned myself, some certain amount of conditioning came from my childhood. It's just sort of not something that's natural for me, but I'm also a less expressive person than you, Jack. So I can kind of see like a justification for sometimes, believe me, I can get expressive when I used to play video games. That's when the swears, oh my God, filth, absolute blue air around me. So and I don't know how, I think I probably conditioned myself to do that during video game, but like the moment it switches off, or I go around my parents' house, it's off,
So if my nan's in the room, my mum's asked me not to swear. I'm quite good at it because of the job that we have. I try not to swear, and I used to be on point. Like, I'd probably let out one a month maybe, and when I did do it, I might even have the end of it disappear into nothing because I'm halfway through saying it and then it goes. But as soon as I get home and I'm with my mates again, it's bloody
coming through like a steam train. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, mate.
When I was living there, and literally, when I say Jack's loud on the computer, this is where Mason gets from. I don't doubt for a second you're like
that. Where Mason gets it from, it's in our blood.
It's in the blood, right? But when I'm not talking the shouting, like, and then, it's just, you must be able to hear that down, like, next road.
You can, probably.
You can, because the window's wide open.
Mate, Karina's even shut my doors, like, in our house. She shut our back doors because she thought I was swearing too loud. And I was just like, you don't even realise you're doing it. It's just,
all right.
It's
well,
banter.
This is all I can describe it to people, is when you've got a headset on, you're in the game, and you're a pro like me. No, joking. You're in the game, and you've been sitting there for 2.5 hours. You're fully immersed in this game, and like your life's on the line. You're doing all this thing with your teammates, and then you die. It feels like you've died. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm dead, that's it. Like,
and I suppose there are points when you're in a game and it's that intense. You're literally like you're breathing slower, your adrenaline's pumping, and your
heart's beating, and and you feel like that.
Yeah, then you get killed, and it's just a release. It just comes out.
Both do the impression of really being intense again. Just do that again quickly. Because I'll get like loads of battlefields up behind. So
I'll get my PC.
You're in the battlefield.
Well,
you were saying about like being conditioned and having the parents and stuff to sort of almost blame for the vocabulary and the swearing. Like, I came from a home that was definitely a lot of swearing within the household, and it was my dad's friends and friends of his mates and all that sort of stuff. But then going into the building trade, like coming from the building trade into a job like this, you do not know how hard that was to try and curb that, because it is literally, even if it wasn't every other word, there's always someone swearing on a building site. The jokes, the banter, the boisterousness, and
taking the mickey out of each other.
Yeah, the mickey taking. It's not bullying. It's just banter.
Oh, it is sort of bullying.
And then again, that comes back to how far do you take it? Where do you draw the line? What's bullying? This come up on a pod. This is a bit of a jump in ship quick, but this come up on a pod. And one of these guys that run this podcast, he took the mickey out of another YouTuber. And then a month later, they made a video saying, I can't believe you'd bully someone who's on the spectrum. And his argument was, I didn't even know they was on the spectrum. But now he's being stamped with that label that you bully people with additional needs. He's like, I didn't know she had additional needs. I just said her content was crap or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? But then it's what he's saying. Where do you draw the line? We can't say anything, or no one can say anything.
Well, that's what I mean. But there is a line there. If he was taking the mick out of anyone's content, you know, that's horrible. Please don't take the mick out of ours. But
They do. It's
taking,
engagement.
to be fair, enjoy. But to take the mickey out, if he said, oh, look, she got additional needs, taking the mickey out of
Completely
that,
different.
that is completely different.
Yeah.
So that, I see where he's coming from. Like, you should be able to make jokes. I guess,
And you can't
it's a bit harsh, though,
it's
going
harsh.
onto a channel, taking the mickey out of someone for your views.
Yeah, but that's his content. He basically, that's what he does. He
That is
finds,
savage.
No, but he
Who
finds
is it?
people that he...
Name him.
Jack, mate.
Jack, mate. Oh, do you know what? I
Shares
watched
your
a few
name.
videos.
Yeah, he's actually good. The thing is, I don't think that, you know, I'm not going to say it is an bullying, but if the whole idea and the whole reason behind what he done was solely to expose people that was exploiting children, as he keeps claiming, which I don't doubt a lot of his videos are, if there's YouTubers that are successful and they know their target audience is like between 5 and 10, and they're selling in a Christmas calendar or a T-shirt for like 50 quid.
Oh, I see
It's
what
like
you
a
mean.
£2 buy. He'll go
yeah.
on and rip the mickey out of them and literally say, don't buy it. Look, I've made one exactly the same just with my name. You can have it for £3. And he'll
Yeah.
just annihilate them.
Oh, no, I like that.
I like that. But
I
there
mean-
is sometimes where he pushes it a bit too far.
Yeah, I'm in two minds. So, a bit boring. I watched the gardening YouTube.
No, wrong
tutorial.
gardening, mate.
Right, and it was,
I thought it was Adam that fell asleep then.
it was this right. This guy was basically taking the mick out of this other gardening channel because basically he was saying they basically publish load of gardening hacks, and he was basically saying they simply aren't true. But what they've done by making them untrue, they've got loads of engagement saying, "Well, this doesn't work. That's not that plant." And
Do you think they'd done that on purpose then?
Yeah.
well, yeah, because now they've got like
Either way, they either
100
done
mil
that or they done that as clickbait title, so people would sit and go, "Oh my god, I never knew these tips," and then find out they're not real.
Yeah.
So either way, they're going to generate engagement.
But also for Jack, mate, if he does make videos that are slating other people and people are getting upset about it, just don't watch it. If it's going to upset you, like
Yeah, some
if
of
he's
the
making
influence that he has can be like quite powerful. He's not as big as your KSI in that, but you know what I mean. But he's got a big following. and
Feels
stuff.
like he's some sort of
So
YouTube
let's say
vigilante,
he's
doesn't
made
he?
a point of at the end of it saying, please do not jump over to their channel now and start giving them hate. That's the last thing I want, because people would literally leave his show, go over to theirs and go, you blah, 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 keyboard warriors. So that's where the bullying aspect would come from. So it's always got to look at the bigger picture.
So yeah, my thing, I was just thinking, like, so if I watched one of your videos and there was something I didn't like, because it offended me, I just wouldn't watch them again. Like, simple as that.
Is that why you stopped watching them?
No. I said earlier, every time I see a video pop up, I'll watch it. I might not watch the full thing, but I'll always give you a like.
You give me a view. That even if you only watch 2 minutes, I get a view for that.
Yeah, I'll always give you a like, because
Nice.
I'll always think if I give him a like, it's probably going to help his actual.
Oh, 100%. Them likes and dislikes and engagement is massive on the YouTube platform.
So, guys, like it.
You got 3 seconds. This is
Yeah,
what
come
we do.
into
Adam, you know what you said
We need
about
to plug.
asking at the end? Right, this is how easy, not easy it is, but this is how they get the younger audiences. So if people like my kids, when they was sort of, I don't know, 5, 6 sort of age, and they was watching Collins Key and what's his mate? Collins Key and the other one, there's brothers, whatever their names are. And they'll be doing like this, like eating challenge or let's make slime, right?
I know what you're gonna
And then
say.
they pause. They go, right, guys, you got 3 seconds to go smash that like 3, 2, 1, done. And then they'll just carry on, like as mad as that,
Yeah.
right? But they'll do it 3 or 4 times throughout the video, and it's like, why are they doing this? But kids will go and smash that like button. It's like, we don't want to go down that road. We don't want to beg and make people do it. But it's always it's good to have a gentle reminder to go like, don't forget if you didn't. Or give them the tools, the access, the links to where they can engage. But yeah, we don't want to go down that, do we?
Time.
Maybe?
I don't know. Time?
Time is 1:27.
Mate, there is no time today.
Oh,
Time stops still. We just roll with this.
I
Let's
was
just
going to say, I'm actually enjoying the chat, so I'm happy.
Saying, guys, you've got about 3 seconds to go and put a comment if you want us to carry on talking. Ready? 3! No, I'm joking.
But on a serious note, like and subscribe.
Yeah, no,
Only if you want to. There's no pressure here. No pressure.
Nah,
Do it now.
Please.
I guess we're wrapping up. I mean, we're
Yeah,
on
I think
we're
that's
on
come to
camera.
a natural
I
end.
guess.
Natural end, doesn't
So-
it?
We can cut that though.
That's a good point though, because we can cut, but actually it's going to be harder to cut while with camera unless we sort of jump from one person to the next. Because if it was just us like this, What you wouldn't want is that mixed match of.
But that's what I mean.
His
but
arm was there. Their arm
yeah,
was
yeah.
there.
But that's what I mean. But we don't make it look like it's continuous.
No.
You do like a little tiny animation. That. So anyway, and then it carries on.
True.
Like your YouTube videos now, with the new editing. They're cool.
Right. So, ladies and gents, on that note,
I wanted to leave with some links as well,
Yeah.
just
Go on,
to
man.
what we talked about.
Yeah.
So just a reminder about the links. So the Spotify, if you search Here to Listen, HEAR2LISTEN. It's the last time I'm going to say that. You know it probably is. You search Here to Listen in Spotify and you'll come up with us. Just look for our purpley white logo. It should be there. We're also on Anchor FM /Here to Listen CIC. We're called CIC because we're a community interest company. That helps you remember. You can leave us some messages there. Obviously, visit our website, heretolisten.org.uk. Have a look round. You know, we've got some new stuff on there. If you want to contact us directly, we've got phone numbers there, but also you can use our contact sheet. And for those like myself that think, oh, God, a contact sheet, I've got to put my name, I've got to put surname, I've got to put an email address, I've got to click the thing that says I'm not a robot. There's a reason why those things are there. We'd still love to hear from you. Don't let that be a barrier to getting in touch with us as well. So, it basically goes directly to my email, so it will get answered well quick. So
can I bring something new to the end of the pod and make this this might end up being like a thing that we do at the end.
All right.
Let's see what he's got. Go on.
Leaving a pointless fact.
Uh-huh.
Right, and you're going to give us that first pointless fact, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you think one up and just think of one off the top of your head.
Why me?
Because you just said something that reminded me of the pointless fact you told me the other day. This pointless fact would be to do with, are you a robot? Click on these certain thingies. Tell me what you told me. This is a nice little fact. Ladies and gents, listen to this.
All right, so sometimes it will say, is a grid, and you've got to click like where the traffic lights are or the hills or whatever.
Ooh, before you go on, I bought a game the other day, had to do that. I got it wrong so many times, even though I thought I was getting it right, that Stan was literally laughing at me. He's like, mate, you're a robot. They wouldn't let me on the game. I had to wait 24 hours to get on it.
But how did you get that so wrong?
I don't know.
What
I'm
was
sure.
it saying?
No. So it was a picture, and it had a big bus, but it weren't like loads of different pictures. It's just one picture. It's like, click the one with the buses in it. I was like, all right then. So I'm clicking all the tiles with the bus in it, but then on the edge, there was tiles that only had the back corner of the bus. And I'm looking at it like,
it's a bus, isn't it?
but I'm putting it in, and it's telling me I'm a robot.
You are.
For the fact that I'm about to give you, this is going to have hilarious connotations. The purpose of these is they're kind of data mines, so that when they're going to be doing automatic cars, electric cars that like self-guide, then you need to sort of tell the computer what things to look out for, like traffic lights, like people crossing the road, like other cars.
Buses.
So apparently, according to a mate of mine, I don't know how guaranteed this is, but it's about filtering that information so that it makes it useful. Except when people like Jack do the opposite. So it's going to be horrendous like car crashes as a result.
So many buses got wiped out because of you, Jack, in America.
We don't know what, the like designers go, we don't know what wrong, we put all the algorithms in, right? There's like unknown element of Jack in there as well, sabotaging it.
Well, the fact that I've heard that now, I will be sabotaging it. I will.
And then you can't play that game.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm already on it. I'm already on it.
That blew my mind when I heard
That is
I
kind of
thought,
mad.
that's quite
That is kind of
crazy.
mad. It's weird how they're linked to such a precise, I don't know, like organisation that's using this data, but it's on
Technology,
everything.
and the technology. When you're looking at
So
self-driving
is this
cars,
just self-driving cars that this information is being used on?
Oh,
Or is it AI?
He didn't say anything else. I don't know, really. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your pointless facts. I think that's cool. We all need to think of a pointless fact.
I got a few up there.
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Okay.
Right,
Let us know
so-
if you want to hear more.
I'm going to have to squeeze this out of the
So
way.
he's going to see us out. Thank you very much. We've been here to listen. Thanks, guys.
Jack!
You've got to hit the record button as well.
Yeah. I also farted, yeah. That's what I was going to say.